I have been in labor and hardship, through many sleepless nights, in hunger and thirst, often without food, in cold and exposure. Apart from such external things, there is the daily pressures on me of concerns for all the churches. That's Paul speaking. I have learned to be content in all things. There is nothing in hunger, there's nothing in thirst, there's nothing in hardship, in nakedness, in peril, that would make him content, right? Nothing. Yet he is content. Because if contentment cannot be found from something external, it is found from something internal. And that is God. Why? Because your life, sabi ko nga, has an eternal vacuum. Sabi nga ni, what's his name? That in every man's heart is a God-shaped vacuum that only God can fill. You were made to bring glory and honor to God. And if you're not filling yourself with God, you will be discontent. In Psalm 119, and you don't have to go there, the psalmist say, may those who fear you see me and be glad because I wait for your word. What that means is this. Our life is meant for God's glory. Hardships and trials and difficulties are meant in order for us to shine brighter. We have to understand that. We have to understand that our life is not really about us. And if our life is not about us, then it's not about accumulating things in this world for us. We really have to understand that. Our life is meant for God. So we have to be consumed by God in order we can glorify God in all that we say and do. It is only when we are filled with God that we can be and we will be content. That's why, di ba, sabi nga, the stars shines brightest when it is the darkest. You know, if you look at the life of the Israelites in the wilderness, man, they were complaining. What were they complaining? They were complaining against Moses. Why? You talked to Pharaoh. Pharaoh got mad. Pharaoh told us to double the output with less the material. Get beaten up. After that, they went to the wilderness. They were complaining. No water. God provided water. They complained again. The water is bitter. Wow. Eventually, they said, we ran out of food. No food. They complained. Guess what? God provided manna. What's their complaint? Palaging manna. Eventually, Aaron and, what's that? Miriam, yeah. Aaron and Miriam complained about the leadership of Moses. They want to have a coup d'etat. Then they complained, it's so difficult. You sent spies and they're all giants. And they were complaining, why is God giving us that kind of a land? I thought it was a promised land. Right? And they were complaining about their life in the wilderness, and they were saying, did you bring us here so that we may die in the desert? I mean, they were complaining about anything and about everything. They don't realize that according to the Bible, whenever they complained against God, against Moses, they were complaining against God. Whenever you complain in life, realize you're complaining against God. God, you're wrong. God, this is not the plan. God, honestly, I know what's the plan. This is the plan and this is the best plan. Can you please follow? Lord, please follow. We don't say it that way. Right? But when we complain, that's what we're saying. Lord, you don't know what you're doing. You're out of control. You have no control of the situation. You don't have my best interest at hand. Because if you have the best interest of hand, then my life should be being worked out this way. Because my life is not being worked out this way, I'm complaining. But we will not say, I'm complaining against you, but the Bible says, you are. You are complaining against God. That's why in Philippians chapter 2:14, what does it say? Do all things without complaining. I remember one of my child, I don't want to say the name, because they're all guilty. I don't know if they're all guilty or not. I tell something, complain. Complain again. Stop complaining. It doesn't take you anywhere. Just do it, right? Think of it. In all the complaints of your life, what happened? It only made you miserable. Forget it. Really, forget it. Sabi ng Bible, do all things without complaining nga eh. So, can you stop complaining? Right? So, alam mo, pwede memory verse yan. Right? If somebody in the family is always complaining, right? Okay, stop complaining, the Bible says. Going back to Philippians chapter 4, verse 12. In 11, sabi niya, I have learned to be content in whatever circumstance I am. Now, let me expound, Paul says. First, I know how to get along in humble means. Okay. I learned how to get along in what? Humble means. You know, I realized something. It's one thing to be born poor. It's another thing to be brought poor. The one that's born poor, that lives in Tondo and grows up in Tondo and dies in Tondo, probably will not really realize how poor he was, right? But for one who lives in Forbes and now lives in Tondo, wow, that's a problem. When the Bible says here, I know how to get along in humble means, what that means is this. Was brought low. I have learned to be content despite the fact that I was up and I became poor. In fact, the word there is lacking the bare necessities of life. Okay lang pinanganak ka mahirap eh. Hindi mo alam na ang buhay walang aircon. You will not look for an air-conditioned room when you were born without an aircon all your life and you grew up without an aircon. But when you are born with an aircon and you grew up with an aircon, one day you become poor and there's no aircon. That's what it means here. Along with humble, brought low. And that's harder. Obviously, because there's a point of comparison. I remember a friend of mine. He's kind of well off. He at that time when he was still my barkada, his watch is typically worth 3 to 4 million at that time. His maong is worth 300,000 pesos. Really kind of filthy guy. And he told me something. Bobby, ano yan? Luxury, once tasted, becomes necessity. Totoo yun. Nasubukan mo na ang Sa aeroplano, nasubukan mo ang business class. Ang hirap mag-economy. No, really, ang hirap ang hirap mag-economy. Pag masubukan mo ng, I remember growing up, I don't know if you realize, yung TV ko, black and white. Ang ganda, black and white. Sanay na sanay ako. I watch basketball, black and white. Then one day, I discovered may colors pala. So I was watching TV, colored. Then one day, I watched black and white. So hindi na pwede black and white. Colored na. Right? Luxury, once tasted, becomes necessity. And the thing here, the hard part here is, when you experience that standard, and you are brought low, napakahirap. Napakahirap nun. And Paul is saying, I've experienced that. Being brought low to the point of lower than basic necessities. And guess what? I'm still content. There's this story of a king. The king had this illness. Couldn't sleep at night. Insomnia. He called his astrologer. I have a problem. I can't sleep at night. What should I do? He said, simple. Look for a contented man. Get his shirt. And you have to sleep on that shirt for 7 days. Day and night. Okay. The king said, pinatawag ko yung kanyang tao. You have to look for a contented man in all my kingdom. Get the shirt and bring it to me. Clear? Boss clear. He left. After 1 day, wala pa yung man. After 2 days, wala pa. Malaki kingdom. After 1 week, wala pa yung man. The king said, naiinis na yung king. After 1 month, wala pa yung man. 2, 3. On the 5th month, lo and behold, the guy came back. King! I'm back! Then the king said, I'm glad. Were you able to find a contented man? So king, I went far and wide. Kita naman, it took me 5 months. Buti na lang, I found the man who is contented. Great. So where's the shirt? Well, he has no shirt. And that's the point. Kita ko naman dito lahat may shirt. Yet, I'm not sure if lahat tayo dito contented eh. Because contentment is not found again in material things. Even if you're brought low to the lowest level, guess what? You can be contented. I remember 2 weeks ago, I was driving in Ross Boulevard, or last week or something like that. Yung car, I took an Uber kasi I was going to Binondo. Alam ko traffic doon at walang parking, so I took the Uber. Nung nag-stop kami, I saw a lola with the apo. Squatter. Nasa Ross Boulevard, daming ganun, no? Ang saya-saya. Really tatawa. In fact, ang saya-saya nila, my driver, meaning yung taxi driver, sir, ang saya nila, no? Kahit mahirap. Sabi ko, oo nga. Ang galing, no? In fact, I took a photo eh. Kakatuwa. Pinicture na kayo maglola. Sabi ko, nakikita ba tayo? Saan hindi tinted to? Okay. Contentment has nothing to do with being rich or poor. Right? And it continues. And also, I also know how to live in prosperity. Sometimes you think, pag mahirap, it's hard to be content. Sinasabi ni Paul, kahit mayaman kayo, lalo nga hindi ka contented eh. And the word here is overflow, superabound. In Ecclesiastes chapter 5, and I'll just read it. It says, he who loves money